I see. Here's that
You
this
played the
Somnium
game
will.
from the first moment knew it was peak. Hey guys, it's Ash from 39 Studios back again for my first ever game review / analyst. For those who are new to the channel, I mainly do game dev, but I decided to branch out and give this a try. Main passion are survival horror games. That's always a fact. However, my second passion is anime games, and just anime in general. And I just happened to get an Elgato at the same time I was playing this game. So I decided this will be my first ever game review type thing. For those who don't know, AI Somnium is a visual novel adventure game made by Spike Chunsoft from 2019. You might know director Kento Ichikoshi. Yeah, Kotaro Koshioshi, the guy who invented the newest game series, which I love as well. This one is supposed to be a bit more broader than audience than that one, but to be honest, I think it's the other way around. I think Zero's game is a lot more mainstreamable. Basically, it's split between a visual novel section and a third-person exploration section, kind of like Zero Escape, where they had like the little escape room type situations. If the art style looks familiar, because it's the same character designer from the No More Heroes, Yosuke Kozaki. Butchering me these names, but I actually do know some Japanese. This is an L on me. Now, you might be wondering, when I first said, when you first open a game and instead of as peak, that was my experience with this game. When you hear that song from the first 5 seconds of the game, I knew this was going to be a great game. And for some dumbass reason, I didn't play it when it first came out. Some backstory. I was told by a friend to buy this game, which I did years ago, back when it first came out. But I had it in the back burner because I had other games to play. But for some reason this year, I was cleaning out my backlog, and I'm like, okay, time to play this game. And I started this YouTube channel around the same time, so I'm like, okay, let's do it. So during the Christmas period, I bought an Elgato because I wanted to shoot some gameplay reviews. More things like Silent Hill, that type of thing, more relating to the channel. But I was playing this game, and I'm like, I knew that I had to film this. So let's speak about the music. Now you might think it's weird to be starting off with the music, which it is, but that was the first thing that drew me to this game. First song in the game, song called The Theme of AI, literally the first song you can hear in this game, peak. So I'm not going to be able to tell you much about music because I don't know shit about it. However, I just tell you that this shit's good, and anyone who tells you otherwise is dumbass. Composer Kensaki Ito, he doesn't have much credits. He's been around since 2005 as a composer, music producer type of thing. Main thing that most people might know him from is some of them Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games, or Lost Ark, see if you played that game. But I feel like he really peaked with this one. Hope he does some more, because it was really good stuff. Okay, so I'm trying to be vague and stuff because this is my first ever reviews. I'm not sure if I should go full spoiler heavy or not. So this first kind of half is going to be non-spoiler, I guess. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but I can't be stuffed entering again. Here it is. So let's get on to the story section. So this game is about this character called Dante, and he's a detective, but he goes into people's heads using a psychic machine. And for 5 years, he's had amnesia. He has no idea who the hell he is, just that he lost his eye when he woke up. Then his best friend's ex-wife is found dead with her eye removed, just in the same position as he did. And that's the case of the whole thing. So that's the death that you see at the very beginning. That's not a spoiler, because that happens at the very beginning. And basically, it's his journey to find this killer by psyching into people's heads. Great story. I'm just going to tell you all now, because I'm running out of things to say without spoiling stuff. Play it. Just play it. Just do it. Just play it. Okay, let's do the gameplay now. So the gameplay is pretty easy to say. It's split into 2 parts, as I've already said. A visual novel part and basically an action escape room set piece. Visual novel part is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, you talk to some people. The good thing is actually have multiple choices to speak about things, though there is one correct answer, or you have to use order speaking rules. You get what I mean when you see the gameplay. So it's a bit basic, but at least you have the option to
This
move
doesn't
around and
look
speak to
like a
people
pickaxe,
individually.
but
Has a
that's what I
non-linear compared to most visual novels, but there's not much really to speak.
This is a pretty avant-garde pickaxe.
However,
Perhaps
sometimes in
designed
visual
with
novel
glow
stuff, you
sticks
start
in
doing some
mind.
quick time events to spice up the thing.
Let's dig
And
it
you can
up.
actually fail these. I
Like
didn't fail
this?
any of them, but you can fail them, which is kind of cool. Also, there's
This
parts when you
is
investigate the
actually
castle,
kinda
that's pretty
fun.
alright. That's what I kind of
Easy.
expect from this type of game. Those are probably my highlights of the visual novel section, where you can explore, look for things, find some clues, talk to them. Basically the standard ones, but a bit more in depth. The second gameplay part is probably my least favorite, which is funny because in Zero Escape it was the opposite. The cutscenes kind of dragged on, but the escape rooms are fun. In this case, I guess you call them escape rooms, aren't the funnest. They're a bit simple for my liking. The game came as simultaneously the most easiest thing I've done and the hardest. Let's break that down. When you psych into people, that's when you get into the escape one, and you play as Ibug, which is Dante's avatar humanoid. Basically, his current left eye. It's a whole thing. We'll get more into it in the spoiler part of the video. Basically, you have to examine objects in the environment and choose actions. You have 6 minutes to do it, and each time you do something, it deducts the timer, and you have to beat it by doing mental locks. And sometimes, if you do a certain path, you get different mental locks, which is fine. Some of the mental locks are quite easy, and then some of them are like ridiculously hard, and it gives you a bit of tonal whiplash, like, oh, this is easy, this one's easy, and then boom, it goes hard. I remember one of them was particularly bad because I had to get the timing right, and I just couldn't do it. It took so long. In fact, I'll put that in the top 3 which ones I hated the most. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, there are psychicking into the mountains, psyching the villain, and cycling into the refrain. If you've done them, and also got the 100% on them, the type B thing, then you know they can be kind of a bitch if you don't know what you're doing. Before we get into the non-spoiler part, I might say my criticism of the game. I have only 2 main things besides the psyching, because even though it was weak, I do still enjoy it quite a lot. Just some of them were a bit harder than others. But they're like weird hard, not like fun hard. But overall, I enjoyed that type of gameplay experience. The main criticism I have is Dante's personality quirk and the branching path. So I'll bring up this branching path now. Basically, I feel like compared to Zero Escape, the branching paths don't make any sense. If you get to the end, you'll understand what I'm talking about, but I'll say that for the spoiler part. But let's just say I don't feel like they handled branching paths that well. It didn't make any sense why it happened, which I can understand. Sometimes you don't need to make sense why it happened, but I feel like based on the ending, it did need to. Now this one isn't really a me criticism. This might be just trying to get someone into the game. Probably something you need to warn them if you think this is peak. Once again, on the way, Dante's a pervert. That's fine. If you love anime, like fan service, that's fine. However, if you're trying to get mainstream audiences, which actually this game was designed in mind compared to Zero Escape, and this Zero Escape didn't really have this issue at all. Dante's like, that's his main personality trait, let's be honest. He's a pervert, which is fine, like it's an anime game, but when you're trying to convince people to play it and it's a bit more mainstream, it might be something you want to think. Especially because the pervertedness gives very tonal whiplash in certain scenes. It's just like 180. Like, it's like a serious scene and then suddenly like, ooh, there's a porno mag. I don't think it's a weakness, but if you try to convince someone who's non-anime loving, keep that in mind. Okay, now on to the spoiler section. I feel like the game was paced quite well, even though some of the routes were more important than others. I feel like they all led to the theme. The theme being in the game being AI, which is actually means 2 things. So there's AI, artificial intelligence, but also I, which is the Japanese word for love, which lines up with the main antagonist not being able to feel love whatsoever. Every character interaction is based on love. Iris and her mom, Oda and his mom, the main character, and Iris and Mizuki, all these things. And the villains are all people who, without love, even the Yakuza character loves Iris as an idol, which is why he's a good guy, versus his former boss, who is without love. I also feel like the story is really good because it's built upon the fact that Dante and Shishima's mind had switched in that 6 years ago, and the whole mystery is kind of going in reverse, trying to figure out that big secret. And I feel like the creator has always been good with that strong writing, example like Zero Escape, and I feel like the story overall is probably stronger than a couple of the Zero Escape games, as well as its theming. I feel like the theming and as well as the emotions are strong because you get to see the characters, you get to explore more, you get to talk to them more, you get to really see what makes them tick, especially when you're not in a stressful situation like a killing game, but you can actually have quieter moments, which gives a lot more nuance to the characters. Now, speaking about the parallel worlds, reason why I don't think it works as well as in Zero Escape. Zero Escape, the whole world is built on the idea of parallel worlds and transporting and that type of thing. This game isn't. It's especially a problem I feel like when you get to the happy ending sequence, because a lot of the character development that most of the characters went through were in the side paths in those ones, not in the main branch that connects it all together. While I think they definitely had some growth, I don't think it's as much growth as the ending and the little dance sequence points it out as to be. Is this a personal criticism? Yes, but I feel like it's just a criticism that just didn't disconnect. I still like the ending. I like that everyone had a happy ending who deserved it, and I did like that there was a dance sequence. That was funny. Also, my point of view of the game also changed widely, probably compared to most people. I got the Annihilation ending. I got to the roadblock of the Annihilation first, so in my head I'm like, oh, okay, so she's the main antagonist, not realizing that there's more stuff on the way. Then I got the Iris ending, which explained a lot of things. Then I got Mizuri and Oda. Then I got back and finally completed the Annihilation ending, and stuff just make more sense. So keep in mind the Annihilation ending, if you get the vote box, it will be like, what the hell? And I feel like that's the strong part about the story, is that each branch gives you something. So Oda's part might be a bit like, why is it here? But then when you actually start looking at it, it actually explains a couple things that are important later down the line, as well as helps the theme of the story. Yeah, I got nothing really else to say on the spoiler thing. I don't even know why I had a spoiler section. I think it's because only other videos have. So this is the end of the video. What did you guys think of AI Somnium? Do you like this type of video? I'll probably, if I do this type of style next time, I'll probably have more to say. This was a bit more of a spur and more type of thing because I was playing the game and I thought it was peak. So I didn't really have my analytical glasses on. Something that I will remedy in the next video. If there's a next video. Depending on how if you guys think, put down the comments down below. Tell me if you liked it or not. I'll work harder next time. So remember, hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification for more. And that's the end of the video. See you guys next time. Bye bye.